Well, good morning from Merritt Island, Florida, right outside of Titusville and Cocoa Beach. So we are here in the Piper Cheyenne once again, also because I've got a kind of a long flight that I wanted to do here in beautiful Xplane 12.1.0, which has got some neat lighting effects and some anti-aliasing fixes. So the jaggeds in the shadows are kind of fixed. Some of the cockpit stuff that you would have seen, all these kind of like saw pattern um, lines are kind of gone. Fantastic. So the reason why I am doing this is because I wanted to fly up to Hilton Head. So this is the airport that I landed at before, um, in my beloved Piper Comanche, but it's a 230-mile flight, so I need the speed. So basically, it's pretty easy flight here. As we leave, we go into the Ormond Beach VOR, and then we head straight up on that Victor Airway. And of course, we're on a Victor Airway right here. Anyway, you can see that there is a TFR. There is a space launch happening, but in VATSIM that is not honored, so we don't have to worry about that. And then from that VOR, it's almost 80 or 90 miles is the crossover point, so it's a pretty long distance. And then we pick up the Savannah VOR and then head off straight up to Savannah and land in Savannah Hilton Head. Should be an easy flight. Probably going to cruise at, I don't know, 17,000 probably. There are no controllers online, so I get to kind of do what I want. I just need to go ahead and file my plan. It does look like Washington Center's up, but we are not anywhere near that. And of course, as you can see on my clock here, it is 7:58 in the morning on June 1st. Marissa's at a horse show. I've got some time. I wanted to do this flight a little longer than normally for me. Don't worry, we'll edit this. So, yeah, I'm going to go away and do my flight plan, send it along, and let's get going. All right, everybody, I got the flight plan sent along. I got the weather. I put in my squawk code because I got that back from the automated system. We are basically ready to go. So to get this airplane going, we're going to have to get a fuel pump on, and we're going to have to turn on the ignition. You're going to start hearing it go click, 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 but also I want to make sure I've got my beacon lights on. So here, click, 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 and we go ahead and start. And what we're doing is we're looking for 20% RPM, and then we can go ahead and add the fuel. So I've just added the fuel. And there it goes. It's starting to take off. At 50% RPM, we can turn off the igniters. But we're just looking for a hot start. So what that means is we're looking for the ITT to make sure it doesn't go up too high. And it doesn't. So we can go ahead and turn off the ignition and turn on the generator. So now we've got generating power. We can go ahead and turn on those avionics. And we can now do the same procedure for the right engine. So basically fuel pump on, igniters, come down here. All right, once we get to 20, adding the fuel. And there it goes. And we're watching up top here, those ITTs. Perfectly fine. So we're good. We can turn off the ignition, put on the generators. So from the back here, you can see we've got our smoking and no fasten seat belts and no smoking sign. So taking off runway 11, let's go ahead and put that on the heading bug, even though, I mean, that's fine. I've already got the VOR dialed in, but we are not getting the signal. And what is the altitude that we're probably going to go up to? We're probably on initial altitude, come up at 1,500 feet a minute, and let's start 6,000 and take it from there and hit arm. So that way our flight director comes on. And under autopilot here, we'll turn on the yaw damper and the autopilot and flight director once we are airborne. Other than that, is there anything else we can do? No, it looks like we're pretty good. Let's go ahead and lower the flaps to takeoff. Like I said, we're squawking. We got our radio on. I think we're just about ready to go. So we are tuned into the CTAF frequency at Merritt Island. So we can go ahead and make our announcement. Merritt Island traffic, this is Twin Piper 5522 Lima. We'll be taxiing to runway 11, Merritt Island. Merritt Island traffic, this is Twin Piper 5522 Lima, taking runway 11 for a right crosswind departure, Merritt Island. Correction, left crosswind departure, Merritt Island. Alright, we're good. A little slow, let's go ahead and rotate. Positive rate, gear up. There we go. You were worried. So there's the VOR being picked up right now. And we can listen for it. OMN, but we can see it also, alright? We can see it right there. OMN. So that's O. That's M. That's N. So I'm just going to hang out here while it kind of stabilizes. And we can go ahead and put our autopilot on. Yep. There we go. My mistake for not having it in heading mode, but we're going to get it now. And now we can actually put it in navigation mode and it'll grab that radial and come in. And you can see we are 59 miles away. We have it armed for 6,000 feet. So let's arm it anyway. There we go. Sometimes when you hit it, you know, you've got to make sure that it actually registered on the aircraft. So at 6,000 feet, we're going to see this thing slow down. And we'll raise our flaps here. Alright, so there's altitude hold, 6,000 feet. And we're just doing what we would think a controller might do. They might give us an initial altitude, initial heading, and then they would clear us up and move to different parts. Beautiful day here in Florida, right? So now they would probably clear us up. You're clear to 16,000 feet, 17,000 feet. Let's climb at 2,000 feet a minute, and we're just going to kind of watch our speed. How do we do? And then probably start reducing that down a bit. And we've got the autopilot basically telling us, you know, that we're going to be joining the radial, so you can see it's now moving towards 341, which is what I want to aim at here for Ormond Beach. And you might notice that, okay, wait a minute, Chris, you've got it pointed at 341, but over here it says you're on 160. Yeah, so you've got to, basically 161 is the outbound radial, but I want inbound, so you have to do the inverse. So the outbound radial, you can see down here at the bottom, would be 161, but the inbound is 341. Looking at engine temperatures, those are all good. Props are all good. Everything's good. We're doing great. Fuel pressure, it's been this long. Let's go ahead and actually turn on our pressurization. Should have done that on the ground, but that's okay. Because right around 8,000 feet is where we're set for anyway. When we took off, we probably should have had the igniters on. I always tend to forget to do that, but that's in case there was a flame out. That'd be something to ignite it. So never a dull moment, right? So what are we gonna have to do? We're gonna have to fly. We're coming in inbound on that 341, which is the 161 outbound, and then we're going up basically 360 when we reach over Ormond Beach. So nothing to it. And because we're below 18,000 feet, we do not have to change our pressure to 2992 to a standard pressure for our altitude. There you go. There's our plane, and you can see in front of us there's somebody on the ground, so you can tell 0 and the speed 0. Opposed to us, which is at 15,000 feet, 205 knots right now. And down here there's the Southwest in Orlando. And they're also most likely on the ground, right, at 100 feet, and then 0. It's their speed. These guys are flying over the water. And up here, probably in Jacksonville, 2 planes on the ground. So if you want to take a look at that that plane down there at Daytona, we can come in here and follow plane view, and there's that Watt. So there they are. And because we're not over it, that's why you don't see actually any buildings or anything in here. That it's pretty basic. Just a few things being drawn as we fly over it, because there's no need to have all the stuff in memory that you aren't using, right? So here we are right above the clouds. Oh, how gorgeous is that, right? Right above the weather. Oh, you gotta love Xplane. So here we are at 17,000 feet. Let's go ahead and come upstairs and turn off the, actually it's up here. Let's turn off the seatbelt sign. We're going to leave the no smoking sign on. And then also we're going to reduce our RPM just slightly so it's not as loud, the prop speed. So let's bring it down to 2,000. So a little quieter for people. We're going to put on prop sync as well, so that way the syncs are perfectly even with each other. You can see from the torque and ITTs and everything that we are in great shape here. You can see the ground speed is 235. I plan for 230, and it also might go up slightly. Yep, you can see it's kind of going up just slightly, so we might get up to 250. It all depends. Though we've got just a slight headwind of 10 knots, so that's probably the difference we have here. You can also see the ground speed, yeah, is at 240 right now, but our indicated speed says 190, and that's because the air is thinner up here, so the air being rammed into the tube is just not doing as much. So the indicated speed is not exactly what your actual speed is. So that's true airspeed, and then of course there's ground speed, right? So true airspeed is something else. That's how far you're actually going, but then ground speed is how fast you are traveling over ground. We can see the pressurization is doing just fine, so everyone in here is not passed out. Our oxygen is just perfect. Anything else we can do? We can turn off the landing lights. We don't need those anymore. And yeah, we're just going to be cruising along here, very boring, until it's time for the switchover. And it sounds like the dogs need to go outside real quick, so I'm going to go do that. And I've got to be back here within 20 miles. All right, so I'm back. Letting Jim needed to go out, so he's outside. Let's take a look inside the aircraft as we get closer to that VOR. So 16 miles. One thing to get ready for that transition is I'm going to move my heading bug to right where we are right now. So as we get closer, somewhere around 4 or 5 miles, I'll put it into heading mode because this thing is going to start going crazy as we fly over the VOR. So, yeah, we put it in heading mode, it'll track that, and then once it stabilizes, we get over the what's called cone of confusion, you know, as it doesn't know what signal to, you know, lock in on. Then, boom, we can follow outbound, and it's basically 360, so basically north. And we'll just be cruising at this altitude. So this is the kind of flying I don't actually do very often. I don't just use the autopilot. I tend to do smaller flights, shorter flights, and hand fly everything. But in a plane like this, you'd use the autopilot. You know, distance. You want to make sure you're ahead of the plane. You would use all the tools you can, and you can see, yeah, right here on the screen, right. So we're flying over that airplane that we just saw the view of right now. So we're flying right over Daytona. It's underneath the clouds there somewhere. Daytona's, of course, got a soft spot in my heart because that's where we would pick up I-4 to head over to Disney World. This is Orbic's True Earth scenery. It has not been updated for Xplane 12, but it still looks fantastic. So the only difference would be some data in the water with the ortho, the satellite scenery. But if I'm not doing float planes, it's something that you don't really notice. Yeah, so just a bit more FPS being used in 12.1. I'm right at the point where I think I might have to upgrade my video card. I can turn down the world objects in here, so you can see I dropped it and I gained about 5 FPS, a little bit more, but no, it was only like 3 or 4. But if you're at that critical point, that's a good thing to have. That little cheat. So there's another airport that we're flying over, right above Daytona. So if we look at the airport real quick here, it might be Ormond. So let's get in the plane. Let's do what we're supposed to do here, right? So yeah, within 4 miles. So it's heading mode. So as we fly over Ormond Beach, it's going to start wigging out here. And also I need to basically fly, I think it was a 3.6 radial. Let me double check that. 359. Okay. .359. So now we'll just watch this thing. There it goes. You see it's starting to get all confused. So I'm going to take my heading bug and fly north. There it goes. It gets all confused. I'm waiting for it to stabilize. You can see the mileage frozen there at 2.9, and then you're going to start seeing it go right back up. So always a good pilot is looking up information, right, making sure that you're doing good, that you're ahead of the aircraft. So Savannah right now, the knots are at 050, 5 knots, and a few clouds at 18,000 feet, which of course we're at 17,000 feet. So looking at the runway 1 looks like this is going to be the best bet for us to land, and hopefully we'll be able to land it short at sea, but if not, that's fine, because this is where we want to go, general aviation ramp. So I've already pulled up in my maps inside Xplane, so I'm ready to go there. I can actually get rid of Merritt Island. I don't need that anymore. And then, yeah, so there we are. Look at that. So if we kind of zoom in, that turn off here, right where that other little airplane is, that's where we switched over. And we did a pretty good job, I would think. So there's that airplane he finally took off from Daytona, so we can take a look at him real quick. Let's just get rid of that. Come in here, and let's turn that off, and let's see him flying in the air. There he goes. Off he goes from Daytona. Where's he going? I don't know. New with Xplane here, like I said, our shadows are a little bit better. So this is still kind of jagged, but you see they blurred out the jagged edges a little bit, which that's a pretty good compromise. Otherwise, this might take up more frames. And the shadow here, it also used to be kind of jagged, but you know that black between the light and the shade is much softer now. Inside here, yeah, still some jagged edges, but far away, yeah, that's definitely better. This would have been that saw pattern, and it's not anymore. So also you can see that trim wheel moving to keep us nice and level as the autopilot does its thing. I'm not bored, but I don't know why guys like doing those big procedure airline flights that last for hours on end. I guess it's because they're not doing it all the time. They're reading web stuff, or you know, playing other games or watching TV or music or something. But to me, flying more than, I mean, this is right at my limit of an hour, because luckily I've got you to talk to and kind of make this video. But just sitting here while the autopilot does its thing as we just at cruise altitude, I mean, there's nothing going on. So I much prefer my 20, 30, 40-minute flights max. So one thing I wanted to show off here real quick is this is the Orbix True Earth scenery. So you can see where the water gets shallow. That's just a nice detail, the coastline. And of course, accurately placed objects and landmarks too. So it's a great scenery pack for me, especially since I love flying in Florida. I love going to Florida, right? Alright, so I'm going to start getting some stuff ready here. The next thing I'm doing is I'm going to dial in the Savannah Tower, which is 125975. It'll be ready for me when I switch over. And the next thing also is I want to put my heading mode on very soon, so I'm just going to hold out here. So we're waiting for 80 miles from the Ormond Beach VOR, and that's when I can switch over to Savannah. So we're just kind of waiting it out here. I believe this is another thing that's been added to Xplane. You see how that white kind of blows out, and they call that bloom. So we're supposed to be coming in on the 183 radial, so that would be basically 3. So we can bring that back. One, 2, 3, and nav mode. So somewhere around, 50 miles, we probably should start thinking about our descent. You can see there we are, and this is where we did our switch over as we head off on our last leg to Savannah. We can go ahead and come down at 1,500 feet a minute. So it hasn't done anything yet because I haven't hit altitude arm. So I'm just waiting to hit that, and then it's going to come down to 1,500 feet. I'm going to have to reduce my power a little bit so I don't get too fast. I've calculated somewhere around 250 ground speed. There we go. We can go ahead and arm that right now. It's going to start coming down, and I'm now going to start decreasing. Let's go ahead and also tell people in my cabin it's time to go ahead and put your seatbelts on. But of course, it's just you guys, and you guys already knew that, didn't you? Right? There's not many of you back there. Alright, so somebody would maybe clear us down again. So let's come down to clear down to 6,000. Such a clear day, we can actually see the airport. That's great. So there is an ILS for runway 1, and that frequency is 111.9, and I'm going to put that in right now. And what that's going to do is that's just going to help us come in. Switch over our radio to Savannah, and let's go ahead and start figuring out some stuff here. Let's go ahead and put it into heading mode. Let's switch over the radio. Do I have the localizer? I do. And let's put it into nav mode and couple with that. Savannah traffic, this is Twin Piper 552 Lima, about 20 miles to the south. We'll be coming in runway 1, straight in Savannah. Alright, so I've got the localizer there. Savannah traffic, this is Twin Piper 552 Lima, about 5 miles to the south, straight in runway 1, Savannah. Alright. And I'm going to turn the autopilot off and make it mine. Something was a little bit off with that localizer because you see how it says I'm a little low? We're just trying to fix that here. One light. Two lights. It's something about this Carenado aircraft that's not great at following on autopilot an ILS for some reason, but that's okay. some reason I had horrible frame rates coming in, and I couldn't control that. So the flight went off without a hitch, except for right at the end, some frame rate issues, and then the controls got choppy and hard right at landing. So maybe the graphics card is going to be a thing that I have to get now. What a shame. And then also following the ILS down, it brought us down way too low, even though the plane itself, when I looked at the instruments, it was actually correct, but the autopilot wasn't following it very well coming down. So that's just a quirk of this plane, because this plane is meant for Xplane 11, and I did an update to make it Xplane 12, and it's probably got some issue. But let's go ahead and disconnect from the network here. And let's take a look at that landing. I'm also going to say this might be a beta quirk, right? Because watch the replay here. So now it says I landed before the... Yeah. So something is going on. Oh, well. Hopefully they'll fix that in the next beta. But, yeah, it was still a great flight. It's just a shame that right here at the end, the beta had some issue. That's why it's a beta. Oh, well. Other than that, thanks so much for flying along with me. Take care, everybody.